her down in the little gurney. She was holding my hand, and she was telling me that I'd been like a sister to her and thanking me. And all of a sudden, I just saw this flash of her, and she was on these stairs, and her head was at the bottom of the stairs, and there was a puddle of blood, and one leg was on the stairs. And I turned my head from her real quick because I just knew she was going to be killed. And she must have noticed because she let go of my hand and was very professional, thanked me for being there. And about 4 weeks later, that's how we found her.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes...
was she like fell down the stairs, or was she tossed down the stairs?
No, he killed her.
Oh, wow. Hopefully he went to prison for that.
Yeah, but the sad thing about it is she's trying to conform to her family. She doesn't want to humiliate her family. She's trying to protect her children. She not only lost her life, her children were going to be put in a foster home because she wasn't there to take care of them. Her dad was going to jail. And, sometimes we think more about everybody else and we don't take care of ourselves. And that's a lesson sometimes, too. It's all a balance. You're just not here to take care of your own selfish needs. You have to reach out to other people because we all need each other. But I really, I stress to thine own self, always be true. When you're in the airplane, they tell you you've got to put the safety mask on yourself first. And I also believe that you have to love yourself. You have to respect yourself. You have to take care of yourself, or no one else is ever going to do it for you.
Oh, yeah.
We teach people how to treat us. And if we have no self-esteem and no self-respect, no one else is going to respect us either. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's so sad story on that. So, moving along, I mean, like, you give readings now, I take it, to friends and people.
Yes, I read.
Explain to people out there that might just be, listening in for the first time, okay? What's involved in doing a reading?
When people want to get a reading for me, I need their first and last name. And I really don't want any other information because I just don't want to be influenced at all. And then spirit is all encompassing. I don't know how it works, but spirit can do a reading for somebody across, the earth. And I do a short automatic writing and ask spirit to please tell me what these people need to know for their highest good and greatest joy, and thank spirit, and then I just start writing, and it's just amazing. It blows my mind, honestly, that the things that in a spirit, spirit is always spot on. Whenever you have a question, you ask spirit, you're going to get the answer. And then after that, if they, want to go into it more, or they want to talk about, how they could carry this out, or lots of times they just want to, they're just so relieved in everything, and they're crying, or they just want to talk about things. But when I was in Colorado, a young woman came to me from California. She didn't come from California just to get a reading, but she was visiting some friends, and so she wanted to have a face-to-face reading. So I told her the way I do it, and I said, I want you to write down about 3 questions that you want answered, but don't tell me what they are. Just write them down, and, I'll be able to answer them for you. So when I read the automatic writing to her, she started crying, and she goes, wait, I've got to show you something. And she pulled out the questions from her purse, and Spirit had answered each and every one of those questions. And then she was really cute. She laughed, and she said, she goes, you've got to quit giving everybody the answers in just 5 minutes, or you're not going to make very much money at this. But it's just, I have no idea. I just know that Spirit does. Spirit wants to give us the information we need. Spirit wants us to be happy, to live happy, fulfilled, prosperous, healthy lives more than we want it ourselves. It's like when you have a kid. You want everything for that child. You want to give him the world. Well, guess what? Spirit can give us the world, can give us, is able, capable, and wants to give us the desires of our heart. And it's just amazing to me.
Wow. Okay. Now, how about relationships? I mean, do people come to you for, guidance on, relationships and information and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm. People come, it seems like people want to know about relationships, about health, and about jobs, and finances more than anything else. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's sad. Well, and you know what? And you get people in groups. It's like for a whole month, I'll get people that want to know about their relationship. And then the next month, it's people that want to know about their jobs or something. But it really, sometimes I feel a little sad that no one ever wants to know about their personal walk with Spirit, how to answer their own questions, how to, dig deep within. I think we're so used to living in this fast-paced world where you can push a button on the microwave and get instant pizza or whatever. None of us wants to make the effort or take the time to go within and find the answers for ourselves. It's easier to pay somebody to do it for us, and I myself, have gotten readings several times. Sometimes I think that maybe for me, I'm influenced because it's me. I'm, personally involved. So I've gotten readings to see if I get validation, and I always do. And sometimes when you're so caught up in what you're going through, you really can't think straight, much less make your mind settle down. But you can learn how to do it if you just practice. And I just think every one of us is worth taking a little bit of time and finding out what works for you. And, just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. We're all unique and special, and, we're all alike in a lot of ways, but we're all unique. And I kind of laugh sometimes when I read about this proven and tried way, the only way to be spiritual, or the only way to actualize, or, you do this, I don't know, chant, or you do this ritual, or you do this whatever. Whatever works for you is going to work for you, and you have to find what works for you. And if you ask Spirit, Spirit will show you. I never even thought about doing automatic writing. It just seemed so foreign to me. And I went to, it was the Aspen School of Psychic Development, because I just didn't trust, I didn't have the confidence. I mean, I knew I had the ability, but I guess I just needed to build my confidence. And it just blew me away. We had to face, one of the things we had to do was face a corner, and so that we couldn't see who we were reading for. And the person behind us sat down behind us and tapped us on the shoulder and we had to talk for 45 minutes and not stop, and just tell them what we saw. And they tapped us on the shoulder once if we were correct, twice if we were wrong, and 3 times if they didn't know the answer, they weren't aware of what the answer was to that question. And so I was thinking, oh my God. And so I just started talking, and I saw him. I'm claircognizant, so I just know things. I don't really hear voices. I mean, I do some of the time, but that's my basic how I do it. And but I saw this lovely man. He was like, I never can remember if it was Bonanza or Little House on the Prairie, but Hoss, this guy that rode this big horse, he was a big, big man. But he was like this gentle giant, and this man had kind of a similar spirit. And he said he had no regrets about his life at all. I mean, his family that he left behind was his legacy to the world, because he had a wonderful family, except for his middle daughter wasn't living up to her potential. It wasn't anything horrible. She wasn't on drugs or anything like that. She just wasn't living up to her potential, and that bothered him a little bit. And then he introduced me to his wife, and she was something. I mean, her hair was like Albert Einstein. She was very eccentric, and she walked to the beat of her own drummer, and people literally thought she was nuts, I mean, people used to call her crazy sometimes. And then tears were just falling down my eyes, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know this man, and he's not even alive. And so when the instructor came by at the end, and I said, why am I crying over somebody who's dead and I've never even met? And he said, because Nancy, he said, you have connected on a soul level to this person. And every single thing that Spirit gave me was absolutely correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever had, I had another psychic on my show, and she told me she actually had somebody come up, and sit down and only cared about a relative had passed. They were looking for the money he had hid away. I guess it was a large amount of money. And that really offended her so bad that she said, hey, there's the door. I can't do a reading. I mean, have you ever had any strange people like that come up to you and want strange stuff, like that?
Not that exact scenario, but after I graduated from the Aspen School of Psychic Development, to be sure that I, wasn't, people trust you, and I didn't want to give them any bad information, so I told the owner of the school that I was willing to do 50 readings free, just to make sure that I was giving them the right information. So she gave me names of different people that that she knew, and I told all my friends if they had any friends, and I got this one lady one time, and she wanted a reading, and she was a little bit forceful. She wanted me to meet me in person, and I said, well, I'm doing them over the phone because I've done plenty of in-person readings, and I just want to make sure that, I'm just as good over the phone. And she said, well, Karen, who was the owner of the school, told me that you would do it in person and that you would see me this week. And I said, well, let me do an automatic writing for you, and I'll call you back. And I just had this, have you ever been around somebody that you just feel is evil?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I actually have.
Anyhow, in the writing, Spirit said that she had been given a lot of abilities that, she was supposed to use them to help people and to just make the world a better place to live in, and she was not. She was using them for evil purposes and just to benefit herself, and if she did not stop, I think it said cease and desist or something, it was like something was going to happen to her. And I was shaking. I just was shaking. And I didn't give her the reading. And I felt really horrible about it because, spirits told me that, obviously Spirit could use somebody else. But it was just, I thought about myself. I was scared for me, and I just didn't want to be around her energy. And Spirit said, I sent her to you for a reason, and maybe she would have listened to you, and you could have turned her life around. But you chose not to. But it's okay. But you need to learn, Nancy, that if somebody comes to you and has a question, you are obligated to give them the answer because they chose you. I sent them to you. So I haven't done that ever again. And I know that Spirit, it's not like I'm the only one, but I just felt really awful about not doing that after Spirit explained why. And it wasn't there was no condemnation, or it was just a lesson that I needed to learn, that, all we do is, we're just messengers. All we do is deliver the message. There's no way I can read somebody's mind. And in Colorado, my friend